Fuck it, baby. Let's buy businesses. Let me show you why I started my own healthcare company buying clinics and how I buy clinics with no money down or even any industry experience. This is what I've learned after being involved in over $100 million in transactions, plus learning from my billionaire mentor, 8 and 9 figure mentors, coaching entrepreneurs all around the world, and insights from my own private network of deal makers. For too long, we've been told a singular narrative about wealth. Work hard, save diligently, invest a little bit here and there, and maybe in a few decades, you'll be comfortable. But what if there was a more direct, more assertive path? What if you could accelerate your wealth creation and gain true control over your financial destiny in a fraction of that time? This is the power of acquisitions, buying businesses. Let's get straight to the heart of it. The selfish wealth theory. This isn't about greed, it's about the ultimate act of self-preservation and freedom. If you want to build substantial wealth, if you want genuine financial freedom, you must own income. Think about this. Every single billionaire on this planet owns one business, or more likely, many. They don't just work for someone else, they own the systems that generate wealth. And here's the critical point. You don't need to be a billionaire or even a millionaire to start. You can begin with small, traditional businesses, the kind that form the backbone of every local economy. These are the businesses that generate significant cash flow, often overlooked by larger players. And they offer a tangible path to meaningful ownership without requiring millions of dollars upfront. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I don't have business experience. Well, most successful acquirers start without it. You're buying an existing operation with a team, systems, and cash flow already in place. Your job isn't to invent, it's to optimize. Isn't it too risky? Said by every little pussy. Anyway, every investment carries risk, but building from scratch is arguably more risky. With an acquisition, you have a track record, existing customers, and revenue to evaluate. We mitigate risk through thorough due diligence and smart deal structures. Also, when you buy a business, that is de-risked revenue, right? Understand that. It is de-risked revenue. Moving on. It sounds complicated. It certainly has its complexities, but that's precisely why strategic guidance, which I provide, is so valuable. We break down the process into actionable steps, from identifying targets to structuring and closing deals. This pursuit of ownership isn't just about the numbers in your bank account, as compelling as those can be. It's about a deeper, more profound form of freedom. Self-sovereignty. Time freedom. Imagine not having to trade your precious hours for a paycheck. When you own a business, you decide where your time is best spent. It's not about working less, initially, but about directing your energy towards building your asset on your terms. You reclaim the hours that were once dictated by an employer or a traditional career path. Location freedom. With the right systems and team in place, many businesses can be managed remotely, or at least with significant flexibility. This opens up possibilities for where you live, where you travel, and how you design your life, free from the constraints of a physical office or a specific city. Purpose and impact. Owning a business allows you to imbue it with your values and vision. You can create jobs, solve problems for your community, develop products or services you genuinely believe in, and make an impact on the world in a way that aligns with your personal mission. It's about building a legacy, not just a lifestyle. Security and control. In a volatile economy, relying on a single employer can feel precarious. Owning a business diversifies your income and gives you direct control over your financial destiny. You're not subject to layoffs, corporate restructuring, or someone else's decisions about your future. You are the architect of your own security. This is what self-sovereignty truly looks like. Freedom, purpose, and control, all unlocked through strategic ownership. So, are you ready to be the big fucking G, the big boss? The natural question arises, how can I buy a business if I don't have millions sitting in my bank account? This is where the strategic advantage of zero-down acquisitions comes in. The key lies in leveraging other people's money. And there are 4 main ways we do this, or at least I do it. Commercial debt. Standard bank loans, where the bank assesses the business's ability to generate cash flow to repay the loan. 2. Seller finance. The seller takes on the role of the bank, agreeing to receive payments over time instead of one large upfront sum. 3. Seller rollover. The seller maintains an equity stake in the acquired business, aligning their interest with yours for future growth. Investor capital, bringing in outside investors who recognize the value in the acquisition and contribute capital for a share of the ownership. Now, at my consulting firm, Grossfield & Lee, we've developed distinct, unusual, and unique deal structures and approaches that we give to our clients to help close no money down deals. These arrangements are usually favorable to banks, generous to the seller, and incredibly beneficial for you, the buyer. So let me give you a concrete example of a seller finance deal from a recent NBIO. For context, an NBIO is essentially a letter of intent, just a different term and layout that I personally use on the advice of my company's legal director. Now imagine acquiring a health clinic for a purchase price of 4 times EBITDA, which in this instance was $1.16 million, based on an assumed EBITDA of $290,000. The acquisition would involve purchasing the assets, with the seller retaining a 5% stake in the new entity. Now here's the deal structure. The consideration payable to the seller, representing the balance of the $1.16 million, was structured with these indicative terms over a 36-month period. And by the way, if you want a copy of this NBIO, this is the exact NBIO sent to the seller. If you want a copy, you can find my Telegram handle in the bio somewhere, DM me NBIO, and I'll send it over to you. The first 6 months, so interest-only payments of $5.8K paid monthly, which is 6% per annum on 1.16. This keeps your initial cash outlay manageable while you integrate and optimize the business. This particular structure is often used because many lenders, for example, will consider lending 10 to 20% of a business's revenue once you've owned it for about 6 months, giving you access to additional capital. This is where this balloon payment comes in, end of month 6, $100,000 principal balloon payment, paid to the seller. The next months, month 7 to 24, monthly payments of $14,000. End of month 24, a $150,000 principal balloon payment. Months 25 to 36, monthly payments of $11,000. And end of month 36, a final principal balloon payment of $623,000. This 3-year mark for the final balloon payment is strategic because many banks will look at a business's 3-year performance for large lump sum acquisitions or refinancing, allowing for more favorable returns after a proven track record. Now, this is why understanding these bank parameters and having good banking relationships are incredibly important when you're making deals. It's about structuring the deal in a way that not only works for the seller and for you, but also for the financial institutions that might be involved. This means you can acquire a valuable asset without needing a huge upfront capital infusion. Beyond the financial terms, a crucial part of these deals is the shareholders' agreement. This legally binding document governs the operation and management of the new company, detailing equity rights, exit provisions, and governance terms that align with commercial standards. Now, this is only important in this case because we're giving the seller 5% in the new company. She's keeping a slice of the pie and riding on the growth as we grow the business. One of the most potent advantages of acquisitions is what I call time arbitrage. Why spend 5, 7, or even 10 years building a business from scratch, painstakingly developing a product, assembling a team, refining operations, and implementing systems, when you can acquire all of that in a matter of months? When you buy an existing business, you are literally purchasing years of someone else's hard work, their established team, their proven track record, or their proven product or service, their operational blueprints, and their existing customer base. You're not starting from nothing. You're starting from a fully functional, cash-generating entity. Your role then shifts from creating to improving. You buy and then you optimize. This is how you significantly accelerate your path to wealth. So how do you actually do this? Number 1, identify opportunities, the power of fragmented industries. Start by focusing on this, fragmented industries. These are sectors characterized by many small, independent operators where no single company holds a dominant market share. Why are these so attractive for acquisition? 1. Lower entry barriers. Smaller businesses are typically easier and less expensive to acquire than large, consolidated entities. Dinosaurs. Less competition for deals. Big private equity firms often overlook these smaller deals, leaving more opportunities for individual acquirers like you. Significant upside potential. By applying modern business practices, technology, and marketing to an older, less optimized, fragmented business, you can often achieve substantial growth and efficiency improvements, and often very quickly. Diverse opportunities. These industries span countless sectors, ensuring you can find something that aligns with your interests and skills. So let's look at specific examples. Local service businesses, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, landscaping, commercial cleaning, painting, pest control. There are so fucking many. These are recession resistant, localized, and often run by tradespeople who are excellent at their craft, but less skilled at business operations. Niche manufacturing, small batch production, specialized parts, custom fabrication. These businesses often have sticky customer relationships and unique capabilities that are hard to replicate. Healthcare services, like me, physical therapy clinics, dental practices, optometry offices, specialized medical labs, many are owned by practitioners themselves, especially in 2025, nearing retirement, who want a smooth exit and a fair price for their life's work. E-commerce and digital services, while often thought of as startups, many smaller established e-commerce brands or digital agencies operate quietly, with stable revenue and strong customer bases, ripe for optimization. Automotive services, auto repair, tire shops, detailing services, again, often locally focused with loyal customers. Childcare and education, private daycare centers, tutoring services, specialized learning centers. These are community-centric and often have consistent demand. And incredibly easier if you're female. If you're male, I'd say stay the fuck away from childcare. These industries are ripe for consolidation and improvement, and they exist everywhere. So that's first step. Actually find your industry. Second, find businesses. Once you know what you're looking for, this search becomes targeted. Use tools like Google, specific AI searches for industries or services, and LinkedIn. Search for businesses in your desired sector within a certain geographical area. You might be surprised how many are out there, operating quietly and potentially open to a change of ownership. You can also leverage business brokers, industry associations, and even direct outreach to owners who might be considering retirement or a career change. This direct outreach is my recommended go-to. I would stay away from business brokers and third-party referrers because I preach developing the relationship direct with the seller. This way you have the ultimate leverage when you're negotiating deals. Third, engage owners with creative structures. This is where the skill of the deal maker comes in. When you approach owners, don't just offer them a cash lump sum. Offer them creative structures that can actually result in an above market rate for their business while benefiting you with a lower upfront cost. The structures that we, G&L, use are ideal for this. They allow for a smaller immediate cash payment supplemented by an earnout or a share of future profits, aligning everyone's interests. The NBIO example we looked at outlines key conditions of the bid. Otherwise, you can use an LOI. But again, ask your lawyer, ask your legal support, what's the best way to make these offers. These include completing legal, financial, and operational due diligence to your satisfaction, ensuring the suitability of the proposed acquisition structure through legal and tax advice, and confirming that all required registrations and licenses are upfront. So I like to include all terms upfront, as many terms as you can upfront as possible. This way, when you get to the contract of sale, your lawyers can shut the fuck up and basically just get the deal done. Importantly, it also often includes the seller providing advisory and transition support for a minimum of 3 months. I would actually opt for 12 months. This support is invaluable as you assume control. Because when you're looking at smaller businesses, typically the existing owners are very involved in the business. So you actually want them there. You want them to provide transition and advisory support. Now, due diligence. Due diligence isn't just a formality. It's your deep dive into the business to confirm everything the seller has told you and uncover any potential risks or hidden opportunities. Otherwise, look out for the booby traps. It's a critical phase that typically occurs within 90 days of accepting an offer. Here's what it typically entails. Financial due diligence. You'll examine profit and loss statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements, tax returns, and customer invoicing. You're looking for consistent revenue, healthy profit margins, and any unusual expenses or financial irregularities. You want to understand the true owner's discretionary earnings, not just the reported profit. So the owners will pay themselves. Typically, they don't even report it, depending on how small or sophisticated the business you're looking at is. But also, the key thing here with financial due diligence is quality of earnings. If you have the right team behind you, say a board of directors, or you're using the right accountants, they'll be able to find this very easily for you. Now, legal due diligence. This involves reviewing all contracts, customer, supply, employee, leases for premises, intellectual property, and any pending litigation. You'll ensure there are no hidden liabilities or legal disputes that could become your problem post-acquisition. The NBIO itself highlights checking commercial contracts and compliance with regulatory requirements. Operational due diligence. This is where you understand how the business actually runs. You look at systems, processes, supply chains, customer service procedures, and technology infrastructure. Is it efficient? Are there bottlenecks? Where are the opportunities for improvement? This is one of your biggest areas you want to look at. How can you improve the business after you buy it and make more money? Commercial/market due diligence. Understand the market the business operates in. Who are the customers? Who are the competitors? What are the market trends? Is the business's competitive advantage sustainable? Human resources due diligence. Review employee contracts, compensation structures, benefits, and any existing HR policies. You need to understand the team you're inheriting and ensure a smooth transition. The NBIO should specifically mention reviewing employment arrangements. HR due diligence is probably one of your biggest elements, especially when you're looking at service-based businesses, because 80% of the business is actually the people delivering the service and serving your customers, right? During this DD phase, the seller will provide a list of required information, and they're expected to use their best efforts to provide it in a timely manner and answer all your questions. This meticulous process helps you make an informed decision and structure a deal that accounts for all factors. The timeline and sale process outlined in the NBIO typically involves due diligence within 90 days of accepting the offer. I've seen deals go for 180 days, especially if you're relying on bank financing, because that's how long these fuckers can take. During this phase, you'll request information and the seller will provide it promptly, answering any further questions. This is followed by a negotiation period for the sale contract and shareholders agreement, usually within 4 weeks after DD is complete. These agreements are based on industry standard drafts provided by your legal advisor and are negotiated to the reasonable satisfaction of all parties. So again, if you're using the right accountants and the right lawyers, you should be able to negotiate very efficiently. And you, as the one important point I'd like to add, you as the founder, as the driver of the deal, you need to tell your lawyers to stop worrying about the little points. Let's get the deal done. Whatever you can compromise on, whatever the seller can compromise on, get that down and just move on with the deal. Because lawyers will spend an eternity if you let them, which means they're going to drive up your bill. So you want to tell them to shut the fuck up and just go on with the deal. It's important to remember that a NBIO or an LOI is generally not intended to create legally binding obligations between the parties, except for specific items like confidentiality and exclusivity. The NBIO often includes a confidentiality clause, ensuring that the terms of the offer and all due diligence material remain confidential. There's also usually an exclusivity period where the seller agrees not to solicit or negotiate with any other party for a competing proposal for a set time. Typically 90 days, but again, you can go up to 180 days from the signing of the NBIO. This gives you the space to conduct your due diligence without competition. Number 4, making money day one. This is what you all want. This is perhaps the most exciting part. Once the deal is closed, how do you ensure you're making money from day one of settlement? This is where the rubber meets the road. So first thing you can do is secure working capital. You can obtain working capital from a bank or integrate it into the deal structure. This provides the immediate cash flow needed for ongoing operations, inventory, and payroll. Think of it as the fuel for the engine you've just acquired. So what I mean here by the bank or integrate it into the deal structure, you can ask the banks for a loan or a line of credit from day one. So while you're going through due diligence, you can actually present to the banks and say, give me money, I need money for the business, give me some money. Or you can integrate it into the deal structure. You can say to the seller, hey, for us to take over the business, we need X amount of money. Give me the money. Leave this much money in the bank account or transfer it to me on day one. 2, draw a salary or director's fee. As the new owner and operator, you can immediately begin drawing a salary or a director's fee. This is your personal income stream directly from the business you now control. It's your reward for taking decisive action. Now, depending on the company size and your accountant's advice, you can either draw a salary from the company, which is subject to tax and any retirement fund, or in Australia, superannuation, or you can charge it as a director's fee through yourself. So you can charge your company an invoice to pay you. Again, talk to your accountant. Distributions. Any surplus cash flow generated by the business after covering operational needs and debt service can be distributed to you as the owner. This is pure profit coming directly into your pocket. Now let me illustrate this with my own acquisition of a healthcare clinic. So, first ever clinic, secured funding. We secured working capital from the bank up front to ensure smooth operations from the moment we took over. I also used this money to pay our lawyers who did our incorporation and did our sale contract. So I didn't pay our lawyers anything out of my own pocket. I got working capital day one with this business and I used that money to pay the lawyers. Immediate income. From day one of settlement, I was drawing a director's fee. The business was paying me from the very start, from day one. Seamless transition. The money started flowing immediately because we had new bank accounts set up and all payment facilities routed to them. We meticulously tracked all payments made to the previous owner to ensure a swift transfer of funds. So day one, we got money into our new bank account. So this was all before settlement. We set up bank accounts. We notified all of our providers, hey, this is going to be the new bank account moving forward, new ownership. Make sure all money comes to this account from this day forward. And you actually get either the owner or their staff to arrange this before settlement. And sometimes, let's say in healthcare, you're dealing with a lot of insurance providers. Sometimes they're slow as fuck. So you got to tell, you might send them an email, you might call them and they say, we'll get to it. They might pay the previous owner in their bank account, in their business bank account. You want to make sure you track whoever hasn't made the changes and actually get the previous owner to transfer the money to you from day one or when they get it as soon as possible. Also consider one of our Owners Club members who recently closed a deal and secured $500,000 in working capital. Now he closed this deal, no money down, and this was 2 deals, and the bank gave him $500,000 in working capital. Now what do you do with that cash? That's entirely up to you as the big boss. You can deploy it for strategic growth initiatives, build a robust cash reserve, or even, as documented through a board resolution, use it for personal benefit. So I say board resolution because if you have a team, if you've been doing this right, you follow my model, you build a team. And to avoid conflicts down the line, actually document who's getting what, how much money is being distributed. So when it comes, 5 years down the line, no one's going to fuck you in the ass for taking money from day one, right? It's documented, everyone's voted on it, everyone's signed off on it. Post-acquisition. Now, buying a business is just the first step. Buying a business is actually very easy. The steps to buy one, actually very easy. It's actually much harder to run the joint. The real wealth is created in what you do after the acquisition. This is where your entrepreneurial vision comes into play and also where your team comes into play. You're not just a caretaker, right? You don't want to just buy a business, sit on it, and that's it. You want to be an accelerator. You want to look for businesses where you can grow and make more money and ultimately exit for a big payday. So these are the elements I would suggest looking at. First one, systemization and efficiency. Many small businesses run on legacy systems or manual processes. Look for opportunities to introduce modern software, automate repetitive tasks, and streamline workflows. This reduces costs, improves consistency, and frees up your team to focus on higher value activities. Technology upgrades. Is the business using outdated technology? Investing in new equipment, point of sale systems, or customer relationship management software can dramatically improve operations and customer experience. And these things can actually be done very quickly, and a lot of your staff will actually give when I first bought my clinic, the staff gave me the ideas on what to do. I didn't even need to think about it. They said, hey, we've been wanting to do this for years. Our dickhead owner hasn't been doing shit. Can we do this? And you just say yes, and you do it. Do you need more money to do it? Take it. Take it and do it. Marketing and sales enhancement. Often, the previous owner relied on word of mouth or traditional advertising. This is very prevalent in healthcare especially. Right? You can implement digital marketing strategies, SEO, social media, targeted online ads to reach a wider audience. Refine sales processes to convert more leads. Customer experience improvement. A small improvement in customer service can lead to significant gains in loyalty and referrals. Map the customer journey and identify pain points you can solve. Team empowerment. Your existing team is a goldmine of institutional knowledge. Empower them, provide training, and foster a culture of ownership and continuous improvement. That's actually the key to ownership and not being bogged down by the day-to-day bullshit of running a business. Actually giving your team the autonomy to grow, to do shit. Give them responsibility, right? Delegate effectively so you can focus on strategic growth. Remember, you don't want to work in the business, you want to work on the business. Strategic partnerships. Look for complementary businesses or services that you can partner with to expand your offerings or reach new customer segments. Cost rationalization. Review all expenses critically. Are there redundant subscriptions? Can you negotiate better terms with suppliers? Small savings add up. And one example that comes to mind is I had two brothers in Canada who got into trucking. The very first 30 days, the first thing they did was call up all their suppliers and say, we're a new owner, we're looking for long-term business, we're buying more companies, we'll use you because we like your products and the shit that you give us. What terms can we change? What discounts can you give us? And I'm pretty sure they ended up saving about $90,000 for that year. That's $90,000 in profit that they just put in their pockets, right? So even just by making one phone call, pitching your suppliers, saying the right things, you can pocket thousands, even hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars, depending on how big your business is, right? By applying these optimization strategies, you don't just maintain the business, you grow its value, increase its cash flow, and build a more resilient, profitable asset. This isn't about getting rich slowly, this is about taking decisive action, leveraging smart strategies, and ultimately taking ownership of your financial future. This is about building true wealth on your terms.